Last night we welcomed back The Walking Dead after many zombieless months, and boy were we glad to see Rick Grimes looking confident again. With all that going on, it was easy to miss some of the smaller details, so go ahead and check out the 5 things you might have missed in The Walking Dead Episode 9, Rockin' the Road. If it seemed a little out of character when Father Gabriel suddenly flipped out and took off with all of Alexandria's supplies, well, it's because it was. And if you paid close attention to that sequence, then you will have noticed that Gabriel was not alone. Episode 9 picked up exactly where Episode 8 left off, just after we saw the mysterious Boots character that had found his way to Alexandria. Well, it looks like Boots wasn't leaving Alexandria empty-handed, and in the scene where Gabriel drove away from the community, you might have noticed that there was another person inside that car. Later we learned that Gabriel had left a hidden message for the gang, which eventually led the Alexandrians to discover a new community of people. However, we never got to see what happened to Gabriel. Is the priest still alive, or was he killed after Boots got the supplies back to the group? After an unfruitful meeting with Gregory at the hilltop, Rick and the group were preparing to leave when a survivor named Bertie offered her support in the fight against Negan. We'd actually met Bertie way back in Season 6, when Rick helped save her on the way to visit the hilltop for the first time.
Whoa.
Obviously this stayed with Bertie, and now it looks like it's time for her to repay the favour. But as great as it was for Rick to find allies at the hilltop, there's something else special about Bertie. She's the TV version of the comic book character Brianna. Brianna is the character first officially introduced in issue 109 of the comics. Shortly after Maggie's arrival at Hilltop, she quickly becomes one of Maggie's closest friends and allies. Despite Bertie having a different name and introduction to the series, it looks like we can expect Bertie to pick up on some of Brianna's storylines in the future. We all know Morgan abhors violence and murder, so it should come as no surprise when he posed the idea of capturing Negan instead of going to war with him.
People will die. A lot of people, and not just the saviors.
While Rick quickly dismissed the idea of capturing Negan, it definitely sparked off a memory of something Morgan built back in Season 6. After the Wolves attack, Morgan took it upon himself to construct a jail cell in Alexandria.
Why? It'll give you some choices next time.
Since the cell was completed, it hasn't actually housed any prisoners, but at some point there's got to be a first, so why not Negan? Fat Joey got a hell of a eulogy in Episode 9.
He had a great sense of humor. In fact, we were just joking about oral sex with Lucille the other day.
But his real legacy was that amazing zombie trap that Rick and the group stumbled across on the highway. As it turns out, Fat Joey was basically the Eugene equivalent of the Saviors, and rigged up a brilliant trap for zombie herds. Unfortunately for the Saviors, as masterful as Joey's trap was, thanks to Rosita, the crew were able to make off with most of the explosives, leaving just enough behind to hide all evidence that they were ever there. Despite being a loyal saviour, it looks like Fat Joey just gave Rick's group a seriously big advantage. As Benjamin returned from a solo mission in the woods, he found Ezekiel reciting the end of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech to his younger brother.
Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands in singing the words of the old Negro spiritual.
While we all know the historical context for this powerful speech, it does also seem to apply to the current situation with Negan in the Walking Dead universe. It's almost a cruel twist then, that despite Ezekiel reciting the speech, he then went on to refuse Rick's offer to form an alliance against Negan. Given Ezekiel's tight bond with Benjamin and his brother, we can't help but wonder if the show is setting us up for a tragic death that will finally give Ezekiel a reason to take action against Negan. Is anyone else wondering why Alexandria hasn't tried to establish a flock of ducks in the town? We know the community is in dire straits in terms of food, and ducks would be perfect for both meat and eggs. Heck, they even have a pond inside the gates of Alexandria that would be perfect for them.
Take some risks.